you've been in crypto for more than a day, you probably also agree with me when I say that this stuff ain't serious. I mean, some of the shenanigans that we are facing on a daily basis is enough to fill somebody up for an entire lifetime. With alarms being sounded every single day, all the rules, all the critique, and many things of the sort being extremely unfair, lawsuits being filed all over the place, recently another one against Coinbase, which of course we'll cover in this video. And don't even get me started about some of these shenanigans when it comes to these ETFs. And man, when I say that Twitter has some of the most unhinged announcements, I wouldn't be joking. For example, this has been, I think, proven to be at least unsupported, but it was an interesting theory. Kamino, which is a project that basically allows for some, let's just say Solana DeFi, did an airdrop, which was heavily anticipated. And now there was an account over on, I think, Bybit. Kamino team evidently didn't realize that Bybit updated the leaderboard to show profits from spot holdings before naming their account Team Sales and ranking number 2 on the weekly leaderboard. Congrats on the exit, I guess. And now the thing is, we can't confirm that it's actually Kamino. It could just be somebody naming their account that way. But it's extremely funny that this person, right, this account over on Bybit, named itself Kamino Team Sales, which theoretically speaking could just be one of Kamino's accounts, made the most amount of profit, $3.5 million, on Kamino. It's kind of funny, right? And again, it was just announced, or at least it was just changed, that the profit can be seen. You know, this leaderboard is a new thing. So beforehand, the name was only internally. And again, Kamino themselves say, this is not us. But why would he say it's them? It's better to deny it than, say it's them, right? The guys at Kamino say, hey, pretty crazy to have to respond to this, but I guess we have to. The Kamino team does not have an account on Bybit. We have no idea who this genius trader is, but it's not us. Anyone can pick their own name. I am told back to building. Anyway, to get back to our earlier discussion, seriously, these regulators and the way they're doing their business is so stupid, and nobody can tell me differently. But listening to so many of these Ripple conferences and guys like Brad Garlinghouse and people who have been dealing with these lawsuits for a while, I realized that we just have problems of our niche, this cryptocurrency space, being very early. We're at one of the beginning stages. I don't mean that the older stages are better. No, matter of fact, perhaps the opposite. Take a look at, for example, this article. U.S. government can't go bankrupt because we can print our own money, says the Biden administration. It's true, and look at what this says below. Bitcoin gains attention as a hedge against government spending. The government can keep printing so they can never go broke. That makes sense, because if you've got unlimited money, it's hard to go broke. It's just everybody else surrounding it that goes absolutely to the ground. But that's something that they forget to mention. There was a little funny conversation, and it brought people to questioning whether or not some of the people like Bernstein here understand the economy ever so well enough. And it kind of sparked a little new wave of interest in these alternative currencies like Bitcoin, because once more, how much do you trust your government to really take care of you when it comes to spending? Well, I'm not against anything too much, right? But I will say that I don't trust them to take it light on the spending and be kind with it all. Talking about being kind, crazy article just popped up. Breaking news, a new class action lawsuit was just filed against Coinbase and Brian Armstrong. And it's interesting that this is about Solana, MATIC, NEAR, MANA, Algo, Uni, XTZ, and XLM. So seriously, they're going after Stellar, which is peculiar. Then again, this is not as big a deal because Coinbase users have filed a class action lawsuit, not the SEC. Well, obviously it's class action, but not the parties which you would have expected it to pop up from, alleging the company misled them and class into buying securities. The way I see these type of lawsuits is opportunists. People who realize, specifically lawyers that realize, okay, if the SEC comes out and names one of these cryptocurrencies, which they probably think is a cryptocurrency themselves, to be securities, they are able to rake in massive sums of money. And again, I've heard that the lawyer might take a percentage fee of the potential winnings instead of a legal fee, perhaps a really low one, which is why people most likely are more able to put up these frivolous complaints because the lawyers think, well, let's say it takes a little bit of money to put it up, but there's a potential multi-$100 million reward or perhaps billion-dollar reward for it. If he gets a small percentage, it could definitely have been worth his time. And looking through it, this is just another crazy complaint. And honestly, I don't think we need to spend too much time on this because I think this is like time number 7 that this has happened. This is not the first time that Coinbase or Ripple or any of those guys have been sued by consumers. But apparently they put this up as the SEC and judge deemed Coinbase earned to be violating the security laws, or at least that it had to go to proper trial. Anyway, to continue on with the discussion, Edward Snowden sounds the alarm on Bitcoin. When is there no alarm on Bitcoin, right? Time-sensitive crypto warning issued. Long story short, it basically says we need more privacy. And the long story short on that one is, if you really start looking at it from a protocol level, Bitcoin and most cryptocurrencies, there's some out there that are good, but most of them are kind of open, right? And government officials like to always say, oh, but it's used for all this bad stuff. You know how often the criminals get caught in the crypto space if they steal large sums of money? Very often, because with cash, it's literally untraceable to a certain extent. But with crypto, you know where it came from, you know where it went. So the moment you've got this illegal cryptocurrency, you can't go to exchanges, you can't go you can't go to all these places because you'll be flagged instantly. Good luck trying to flag a specific serial number of a bill or something. So they basically have to deal with all these other shady actors that are willing to accept this tainted, dark, or a black tether or a black cryptocurrency, which happens. Trust me, it happens out there. People, they will pay a very large premium to get this money sorted properly. But percentage-wise, I think it's relatively low. And Snowden sees it from a different perspective, where eventually they're going to really zone in on you for the smallest thing. And I kind of see privacy as a double-edged sword. On the one end, you're giving bad actors opportunities which they might or perhaps should not be allowed to have. On the opposite side, I'm thinking, man, my money, let me do what I want. And otherwise, there's always a government watching over thinking, you're not allowed. He just did that. You shouldn't have. Whereas the core principle of it should be like, hey, you can do whatever the frick you want. There's nobody watching over you that is able to take it away from you if you did something that they don't like. You understand where I'm coming from? And so I think that's, in essence, where a lot of these people come back to altcoins, like, for example, an XRP, like, for example, any in this list. They all have a specific purpose that in the current landscape is just done stupidly. So people often get excited about XRP because it's supposed to fix a lot in this payment realm. People look at Dogecoin because of, you thought I was going to say something useful? No, it's absolutely stupid, Dogecoin. But it's funny though. No, but jokes aside, a lot of these different cryptocurrencies, they solve either a real world problem or, and that's another important factor there, they're just making people's lives significantly better. Now, out of this list, many of the ones that don't actually change people's lives and don't have the use case of being extremely funny, all they've got is hype, right? And so, oh, I didn't know that this happened on CoinMarketCap. That's pretty cool stuff. A little trending type of emoji maybe or something. I don't know what's going on there with this. It's also called polka.new in the bar. That's interesting. Anyway, a lot of those coins will eventually fade into oblivion because they've got nothing going for them. It doesn't really solve a problem. It isn't really good for the people. Why would they keep supporting it? And so if times get rough again, like they got pretty recently here, but again, think about that from the bottom, I wouldn't say of your heart, but just think about that. Which coins should people really have for a longer term? Don't think just 1 or 2 months. Think about that in good times when we are investing with the momentum, but in bad times, think about what will last throughout the next ages, throughout the next 10 or 5 years. And that's where I think a lot of people are going wrong, where they just think only one cycle, which is fine, but then realize that eventually, and this is where a lot of the information that I just gave comes back up, eventually you're gonna have to sell for something. And what is that something going to be? Because ultimately, we all know that the dollar, or any currency for that matter, is not the safest place. So if you've not got any real world investments, which again brings to the point of investing in these real world asset cryptos, but that's a point for a different day. If you're not investing in real businesses or in other things, you're just keeping it in cash, aren't you kind of playing the game in a fool's way where you're going the route that makes most sense, that helps people out, but whenever that does well and it's doing its job, what it was meant to do, you take it back out and you put it into one thing which it was trying to fix. You understand where I'm coming from? I'm not against cash at all. Keep some at all times to keep yourself safe, but ultimately it is kind of a stupid game if you start thinking about it. But it's a discussion for a different day. I'm going to talk about some of my top altcoins here soon, or a little bit more about strategy for the next coming weeks to months, because I've noticed a lot of people are still not fully sure what to do when it comes to altcoins, when to buy, when to sell. Let's talk about it in a few hours.